Happy holidays and welcome to Lunchtime Politics, reaching you live from our global headquarters here in the nation's commercial nerve center, Lagos. I'm Jeffrey Uzama. Here's what's coming up on the program. Presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, seeks judicial use of public funds by state officials for public good. Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Bishop Matthias and Kukah, seeks an immediate end to insecurity, calls for national healing to engender peaceful coexistence. And the federal government approved the disbursement of 25 billion naira to enhance healthcare delivery in the country. Thanks again for joining us on the program, and happy Easter Monday. Let's kick things off with a message from the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, who is asking Christians to pray for those in authority to judiciously use the public funds in their charge to better the lives of poor Nigerians. Mr. Obi was speaking during a Thanksgiving service by the Abia State Governor, Dr. Alex Oti, at the First African Church Mission, Amapo, Ninga, in Isialangwa local government area of Abia State, decries the state of poverty in the country.
When you have good people in government, everybody is happy. There's a hope. Government is not going to solve every problem. But what people want is that at least let people see that their resources is being used for their good. And that is what we're celebrating today. Mine is a very simple one. Do remember us in prayers. Remember the people in government in prayers. It is very difficult for you to continue to do a good thing when you're in government in Nigeria. It's a criminal system. So do remember that in prayer always. Let your prayer point always be, let God touch all of us to use public money for public good.
Yes, indeed. Using public money for public good. That's the message from him. And let's tell you that the Kaduna State chapter of the All Progressives Congress has suspended the state's women leader, Mrs. Mariam Suleiman, for alleged misconduct. In a suspension letter dated March the 30th, signed by the APC chairman and others, it explains that the woman leader was suspended for allegedly defaming the character of Governor Uba Sani and unauthorized publicity of the party's disputes that discredited the personality of the governor, as well as allegedly sending thugs to attack the political advisor to the governor, Mr. Manzo Maigari. The letter notes that the woman leader's action is against Article 21, subsection 2V of the APC Constitution. The APC woman leader had, in a viral video which she made in Hausa language, criticized Governor Sani for his statement on the huge debt burden left behind by former Governor Nasser El-Rufai administration. Governor Sani had, in a town hall meeting, said he inherited a debt burden of $587 million in foreign debt, $85 billion in local debt, and 115 contractual liabilities from the El-Rufai administration, a situation which he said has made the present administration unable to pay worker salaries due to deductions from the federal allocation. And from Kaduna, we head to Kogi State, where the state government and Social Democratic Party in that state are taking blame, or trading words and blame over an alleged attack on some witnesses in the state governorship election tribunal holding in Abuja. The SDP national chairman, Mr. Shehu Gabam, who raised an alarm over the alleged attack, appealed to the president and the heads of security agencies to wade into the matter in the interest of peace. Meanwhile, the Kogi State government has debunked the allegation, describing it as baseless and blaming the SDP as having masterminded the said attacks.
It's a war of words, as the Social Democratic Party is accusing the Kogi State government of sponsoring persons to attack its witnesses who testified before the State Governorship Election Tribunal sitting in Abuja.
About 3 witnesses, properties, were bombed, their houses were destroyed. One of them is Honorable Agoni property, which they took away his property out and set it on fire. I think he was living on a rented property, so instead of burning the whole house, they took his property out and burnt it. And then we have one Honorable Mumini that owns Tantel pharmaceutical outfits. The same thing happened. He lived in the Indoji Iniki Junction. You know, that's where he is. The place was vandalized as well.
In a swift reaction, the Kogi state government has debunked the allegation, saying the party is the mastermind of the alleged attacks.
Our attention has been drawn to a headless allegation by the Social Democratic Party to the effect that the state government allegedly attacked the SDP witnesses in the ongoing tribunal case where the SDP is challenging the victory of the All Progressives Congress in the November 2023 governorship poll. The allegation drifted into the abyss further by claiming that supporters of the thoroughly defeated candidate of the Social Democratic Party in the election, one Muritala Ajaka, were attacked. We wouldn't have bothered to respond to the backing of the SDP and its leadership, as the state government is busy with governance.
As the Kogi State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal continues sitting in Abuja, the state government is urging residents to go about their normal businesses as security agents are on ground to maintain peace and order.
Now, every Nigerian has a role to play moving the nation to where it is designed to be. That is the summation of the Director General of the Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission, Bishop Stephen Adegbite, in an exclusive interview with Channels Television. As Nigerians join Christian faithful around the world to commemorate the Easter season, Bishop Adegbite is urging every citizen to stop the blame game and get to work in their own little corner.
It's quite unfortunate that we are still getting the same result, doing the same thing the same way. We need to change our attitude, like I said the other time. Everybody must put their hands on the deck. The work is not only for the government. The work is for you, is for me, is for those who are listening to us now. That look, if you want Nigeria to be great, we have to participate and contribute our own quota. Every one of us is the president in their little corner. Every one of us is the governor of his little home. Everyone is the commissioner in his own classroom. Teacher must do their bits. The students must do their bits. The workers must do their bits. You don't need to wait until your boss comes around before you behave. Whether the boss is there or not, do your job.
Of course, you can catch that conversation in full with Bishop Adegbite tonight, 9 p.m. on Newsnight, only on Channels Television. Let's also tell you that as Christian faithful had marked the Easter festivity, which is Easter Monday today as well, the Bishop of Catholic Diocese of Sokoto, Matthew Kukah, is seeking an end to insecurity that has devalued human lives in the country. While giving his views on the essence of the season, Bishop Matthew Kukah explains that Nigeria is currently passing through a healing stage and government must do more to end all forms of insecurity across the country.
There are over 300 or 500 or maybe more than 500,000 abandoned projects that litter this country. It's a testament, to the brokenness of our country. The very fact that hundreds of Nigerian citizens are still in captivity is evidence of the brokenness of our society. The evidence that the country is actually, in the last 10 or more years, has become almost a graveyard of sorts. And that we're burying people in their hundreds, and we're not in a war. We don't need to look any further to explain how broken our country has been. And to say this is not to ascribe blame to an individual or to a particular government, is that we need to return to the scene of the crime to see the range of opportunities that we miss. My messages are never really flippant, and I don't beg people to agree with me. I allow for the fact that many people will find areas of disagreement with the things I say, but we cannot quarrel with the fact that ours is a nation that desperately is in need of healing. And I think the right time is now, especially from the kind of things we are hearing that government is trying to do. A nation needs to heal, before we can enjoy the infrastructure. We are dealing with over 200 billion people. To get it right, it's not an easy thing to do. But I think we can see pretty clearly, and I tried to make the case in my message. Some people were a little bit disappointed that I wasn't firing on all cylinders. Really, this is not, I'm ready to give this government a chance, because of where we have just come from. Not because of the great things they've done, but when I look back at where we've come from, I will support anybody that can take us away from where we just came from. So, and I think that my problem with the government is that, and I make the point in my message, there needs to be a robust communication strategy that explains to people what government wants to do. Most important, it is that government needs to end insecurity and end it now, because there are allegations of complicity at the highest level. We don't need that. And as long as this cloud is hanging, there will be a crisis of credibility.
And to more stories now, the federal government road project seeks to connect states as economic hubs linked by superhighways laced with rail lines. That is the explanation given by the Minister of Works, Mr. Dave Umahi, while explaining the essence of the Lagos-Calabar coastal superhighway. The minister was guest on our political program, Sunday Politics, explains that more road projects have been will be embarked on to interconnect roads across the 6 geopolitical zones.
Benefits are enormous. Apart from the fact that you can do from Lagos down to Cross River within 7 hours. 7 hours. And a moderate of 100 kilometers per hour. You also have a rail line. Then Mr. President directed to have a quick return on investment that we should liaise with states, these coastal states, the 9 coastal states, and procure land along the corridor of this project, so that we can develop, infrastructure like tourism, factories, industries, estates, and so on and so forth. And so you can see that in each state it is passing, there will be a linkage to the existing, roads in each of the states. So it's going to tie the entire country together. Mr. President, and I'm following suit, is looking at the entire country as one. Because one road connects to the other, especially the trunk A roads. Trunk A roads gets from one point of the region and it continues to the other points of the region. So the interest of Mr. President is how to interconnect all the states and all the regions together. And it doesn't matter which project. But at the same time, there is a very good spread. You look at, Abuja, Kano, that we are doing everything to complete. And I'm going to complete some of those sections of the road in concrete, and no matter what anybody does, it's going to be done.
And that is going to be the focus of our conversation on this public holiday. That particular very ambitious road, let's explain what this road really is. It's going to cut across about 9 states by the explanation and the documents we have seen. From places like Victoria Island, Ibejuleki, and all of that, all the way down to Cross River State in Calabar and Cross River State, cutting across about 9 states. 700 kilometers. One of the most ambitious projects by the federal government, by the way. And remember that the third mainland bridge is just about 11 kilometers. Took about 10 years to complete. This road will be about 700 kilometers. So 5 lanes to your right, 5 lanes to your left, those 10 lanes, and then at the center will be the railway. So that is why it's a big conversation. That is why it's something we have to talk about today on the program. And we're being joined on the program today by the chairman, road committee of the Chartered Institute of Transport Association, Professor Samuel Odeomi. Professor Samuel Odeomi joins us via. He's a Chartered Institute of Transport Administration of Nigeria. I beg your pardon. Professor Samuel Adewumi, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you. My pleasure, always. It's a great opportunity for me.
All right, Prof. This is a big project. Let's get your first thought on this idea in the first place.
Well, I appreciate Engineer David Mai. It's a round peg in a round hole, very committed, diligent, and a knowledgeable engineer. So it's one of the leading lights of Tinubu administration. But I have 5 big buts to improve whatever he is doing. That is doing very well, but we need to assist him because he's a very knowledgeable engineer, but he's not a transport person, I'd say. And 2 of the big buts that are related is that, you see, there is insufficient synergy between the Ministry of Transportation and Ministry of Works. The manager of the road is the Ministry of Transportation. The construction or the maker of the road is the Ministry of Works. There is a gap that needs to be bridged. That's the first big but. The second big but is the emerging balkanization of the transport system in Nigeria. Aviation is on its own, road is on its own. We've just completed land transportation policy. The water is now on its own. Pipeline is on its own. This is not the nature of transport. The 2 key words in transport for any primary school student of transportation is intermodal coordination and integration. When a transport system is developing on their own, there is usually a problem. So those are the 2 first big buts. And what is the solution to that? I have to put it on ground. Since we cannot bring all these modes together again, there must be a coordinating committee where road, rail, air, water, pipeline, we have representative that let we know what the right is doing. If we don't do that, we will just be going with this disjointed incrementalism in transport development. Unfortunately, transport does not know well when there is no connectivity, integration, and coordination. So that is my suggestion for that. But there are others. But let me address the issue of that road, that particular project, which I watched yesterday. It's a very ambitious program. But in order to avoid the risk of abandonment that Bishop Kukah just mentioned, that we have litany because Engineer Umayi is thinking it will be completed in 8 years of Tinubu administration. This is a huge risk of abandonment because of the scope. What I will suggest immediately is that let them do a single lane, one side of the 5 lane first. Take it, because if it is 700 kilometers for the 2, then you will now have 1,400 kilometers. When you consider the lanes, if you multiply it by 10, you know what it will become. So Jakonde did the same thing. One example that is very easy is Yanoba to Egbeda. He did a lane, and the traffic density was moderate for the first 5 to 10 years. So by the time Tinubu came and the density was getting high, they did the second lane. That is the only, let's show that it will be fast, because to think that this project will finish in 8 years is the risk of abandonment. Yeah.
Prof, so what you're saying, if I understand you're worried that if they don't break it in bits, this may be abandoned. So are you suggesting, because there are 2 parts to the infrastructure, there's a road, and then there's a rail at the middle. So, and I would like you to address that as well. So are you saying that if they take the entire 700 kilometers on one way, all the way from Lagos via down to Cross River, is it that now all the vehicles will be going through that particular one way until the other is ready? Won't that affect the durability in the long run?
One way. It's not even a one way. It's a dual carriageway. It's a normal 2 lanes here, 2 lanes there. We are having 5. with one rail in the middle. That will be sufficient for the next 10 to 20 years. If I have the data, the traffic survey of that road, if we do 5 lanes, then we get to cross Calabar on time. And the risk we ran in Lagos from Marina to Coco took us almost 20 years. And when you don't finish transportation system on time, you just create agony for your economics, for it won't serve the purpose. You can use this money because you have 2 major arteries on rail and on road that even the colonial master realized we have not finished Ibadan or Ilorin to take it to Abuja so that you can have that major trunk. The second trunk is Port Harcourt or Maiduguri. All these roads, for example, now it has been done from Abuja to Makurdi. Let's take Makurdi to Port Harcourt like yesterday.
All right, Prof.
We have a major. Yes.
Prof, if I may just butt in, we're due for a break. I want to just take this short break, and then we'll come back for you to land on your thought. We'll take this break. We'll be back. Welcome back. Professor Samuel Odeomi is still with me, Chartered Institute of Transport Administration of Nigeria. He is the chairman of the Road Committee, talking about this very ambitious 10 lanes, 5 on one side, and then the rail at the middle of the Lagos all the way to Calabar. They call it the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road. 9 states will be covered, about 700 kilometers. The minister says about when you do 100 kilometers per hour in 7 hours, you should be in Cross River State. That is the ambition. Prof, you were saying something. I wanted you to land before I ask my next question, before we wrap up.
So we said he's doing well. The program is okay, but 5 big bots. But the first 2 big bots is that the Ministry of Works that is making the road should relate with Ministry of Transportation that is managing the road. That's number 1. Number 2, there is breakup of all the mode of transportation: railroad, pipeline, water, aviation. They are all in transportation. That is like saying your hand and leg should not work together. Hand should go alone, leg should go alone. On the big board 3, it is on that road itself. My suggestion is let them optimize resources. There are 5 lanes this way, 5 lanes that way. Then do 5 lanes first. Complete it within 4 years, because he said that will be completed in 8 years. You do not enjoy the utility of a road until you complete it. So if they do 5 lanes and they are able to finish it in 4 years, it will serve the country maximally. So we have seen it, and I gave an example of how you can grow a road by doing the first side and later come back to do the first. 10 lanes is huge. And 8 years with the nature of the uncertainties and the vagaries of our economy. So I think I will suggest they should focus on doing 5 lanes first, get to Calabar, and let that place be running, then start that thing, and in the next 20 years, we'll still be on it.
We're almost totally out of time. Prof, we cannot talk about this without talking about what you see as the major economic benefit. I know the minister has said, so that it's busy, they're going to liaise with the sub-nationals to see how they can create that, tourism hub. What are the economic benefits generally that the public needs to know, not just the stretch of road?
Yeah. The thing, there are 2 things he mentioned which are spot on. Now, when you want to, transportation system does not need any canvasser. That is, the village man knows that when the road passes by his village, the economy of that place is transformed. But something he mentioned, which is clear thought, very intelligent, very smart, and the modern way, is that the federal government should buy maybe 50 meters left and right, not just in connection with the state government he mentioned. Because this land we appreciate immediately. In fact, you can recover most of the costs of, because hotels, hospitals, once you have transportation system along the way, tourist centers, you want, when you break, they say transportation is the maker and breaker of cities. Once you make that road, from that Lagos to that stretch at Ibadan, Lagos-Ibadan, nothing has turned into a city. It's still a megalopolis. There's no break in between again. You can't have 1 kilometer that there's no building. So we not even speak of the benefit, but because he recognized and he mentioned that they are going to acquire in connection with the state government. This is very, very important. If they acquire it now, when we lease it out at times 10 times, 50 times, 100 of the cost they are doing on it. So the economic benefit will be massive, because it's like you are doing a belt around the southern Nigeria, which we have. So it is important to finish it on time.
All right.
If it's a road that is halfway that leads to nowhere. So and what he mentioned also, Badagry Sokoto, he should ensure they finish Lagos, Ibadan, Ilorin, Abuja to Kano first before they start that other one. Transportation does not like abandonment. It's wasting resources.
All right, Prof.
They should also finish.
No, just like Makodi, you got 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Let them finish Makodi, Enugu, Port. Then you have 2 major trunks. But I said the colonial masters not right, and that's why they could export most of our goods. So I think these are some of the points. There may be other bots, 2 or 3 bots, but I think
all right, Prof.
Incrementalism that we approach that we are facing now. Do this one halfway, do that one that way. That is anathema to transportation system.
All right, well, for you, one at a time is the magic for all of this.
Yes.
We can continue the conversation around what will happen in terms of movements of goods from some part of the southwest to down south and other parts of the country, given the situation of our road. So it's a big project.
It will become magical.
We hope that this happens as soon as possible. Thank you so much, Professor Samuel Adewumi, the chairman of the Road Committee of the Chartered Institute of Transport Administration of Nigeria. Thank you for coming on the program, sir.
He's also a professor of transport and logistics of Lagos State University.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
All right, so all the stories now before we wrap up the program. In a bid to expand and enhance healthcare delivery to Nigerians, the federal government has approved the disbursement of 25 billion naira to the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency and the National Health Insurance Authority. The coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Ali Pate, disclosed this while reaffirming the resolve of this administration to transforming the healthcare system to attain universal healthcare coverage for Nigerians. In a statement, the minister says health transformation, renewal and accessibility will be achieved with the approval of sector-wide approach known as SWAP and the Health Sector Renewal Investment Program known as NHSRIP. And that's it on the program. Thank you so much for your time and company. I'm Jeffrey Uzonga. Happy holidays. You've been served on Lunchtime Politics.